Wired Unplugged.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wired Unplugged, episode 8. And look at me, back where I belong, in my own home, not on a weird couch. And joining me today is my valiant co-host, as always, Aaron. Oh, wait a minute. It's not Aaron at all. It's Steve. Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Hello. Well, basically, Aaron, we've had to give him some time off. He's just had his birthday,
Yeah.
and he just wants to take some time to relax. So
He's watching UK TV Gold and
that's it.
yeah, eating some.
Eating Werther's originals.
Exactly. I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah, Aaron turned 42 this week.
Yeah,
So Steve's here because it's a young man's game, this podcasting.
yeah.
So
I'm catching him up. I'm nearly as old as him now.
that's what I mean. So we've given Aaron a week off to enjoy the finer things in life. So Steve, thank you very much for joining us. We've got a pretty jam-packed episode today because we've got an interview segment. We're starting something a little bit new, starting with this episode. So I'm glad that you're here for it, Steve. Basically, every month we're going to speak to a content creator about their story, how they got started. Content creators are a bit of a strange bunch. There's loads of them, but they're all managing to be really successful. It's not like the media where, like, if there's the top 10 newspapers in the UK or the top 10 media outlets in the UK. With content creators, they're just popping up out of nowhere, and you'll find a channel that you've never seen before, and they've got 48 million followers or something.
Yeah.
You just go, wow. So, luckily, there's a lot of content creators that are in sort of the Wired verse, plugged in. And so we're going to kickstart by speaking to one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, StephofAnime, who is a full-time partnered content creator who raises lots of money for charity, is really into this anime. We'll talk about that in a little bit, Steve. And plays Pokemon. I'm also interested to hear what you've got to say about that. So,
Oh,
probably
that's
quite.
all I'll say.
Okay, well, we'll get more into that in
Yeah.
just a little bit. So this is just a very standard, nice, structured episode. And although our Minister of Propaganda is, pushed into early retirement, Steve, you're going to take the mantle and let us know a little bit about what's going on at Wired after this jingle provided by Marvin Gaye.
Wired Propaganda.
I can confirm that does sound better on vinyl, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say I don't remember him sounding so smooth. So smooth. It sounds really good.
That's what it is. It's the lossless audio there. So,
Yeah.
we're going to talk a little bit, later on about the world of anime content creation and general news bits because there's quite a lot going on. Before that, it's time for some inward reflection and to look at what's happening in the world of Wired. So, apart from Aaron's birthday, there's been some other things. Steve, would you like to run us through some of the salient points from this week's meeting?
Right, so what's happening in the world of Wired, besides Aaron, like you say, and us having a national holiday just for him, like the Queen? Basically, the world of Wired, we're at WASD, which I know, I'm still not sure how we pronounce it, but we're taking some games there. So we're taking Tiny Troopers, which is the first time it's been at a public event to play, and it's going to be 2-player as well.
Nice.
So you're going to be able to play a bit of co-op on
Local
that.
co-op, yeah.
Martha is Dead, smash hit of the year. You're going to be able to get your hands on that. Over 18s only though. Just be a little bit careful there. Tin Hearts, it's going to be the first time that's been available at an event, and that's going to be the flat version rather than the VR version. I'm not sure at live events we're quite ready for sharing helmets and such like that. Yeah, something we've still going to be still got to be careful with that. We've got Arcade Paradise, which there has been a demo available, but it hasn't been available for ages. So let's get some hands on with that. I think people are going to absolutely love that. And then our squishy hero, Lamote, the Mastermote Chronicles. So you're going to be able to platform and puzzle your way all through that as well. And that's all going to be available at WASD. So
brilliant. And for those who are totally unaware, WASD is a new gaming event that is sort of risen from the ashes of EGX Resd, a beloved, like, indie focused consumer show based out of the UK, London specifically. So WASD it's its maiden voyage. It's the first WASD, and I've got to say it's quite cute how many publishers and developers have been supporting it. Because whenever somebody starts something, you kind of imagine it's going to be a slow start, but yeah, it's brilliant. And it's good to see like there's loads of people representing, not just like
Yeah.
megacorps and things like that. So that's good. It's a good plethora of games, and I think you have made the right decision, to be honest, with Tin Hearts Flat, because yeah, that's a lot of wet wipes, isn't it, to sort out?
It is. I mean, it's bad enough at any normal time, but we are still right at the tail end of sort of a pandemic. We want to keep
Absolutely.
things clean and keep people safe.
Yeah.
There'll be all the deep cleaning of every controller, mouse, and everything in between. We'll take all that into things. But pop down, say hello if you're there. Let
Yeah.
us know. We want to talk to people, so get down there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I guess it would be remiss to not mention it, because we've been on a bit of a hot streak over the last few weeks. That this is the first physical convention in a while, but on the other side of the month, towards the end of April, we're also at PAX East in Boston, USA, baby, and yeah, we're going to be talking live on stage, the Arachnid Theatre, on Friday, April the 22nd at 4:30 p.m. And I'm not sure if it's going to be streamed on the internet yet, actually, but we are going to be doing the podcast live.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to do it. The Arachnid Theatre. Where's that?
I know.
That
I
doesn't
don't.
sound welcoming.
It's next to the Serpentine Corridor. Yeah, it sounds like it does sound a
Oh,
little bit like the Slytherin common room or something. It's a bit
yes,
like
that sounds horrible.
yeah. The thing is, yeah, they had carte blanche. They could have named it anything. They could have named it like the Meadow Hall or something like that. But they went with the Arachnid Theatre. Like it is a bit. I don't know. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
Maybe I'll bring up Spider-Man gear and get the lycra on. Bring it out of retirement.
In the rafters for the big
Yeah,
finish at the end. that's that's great. So yeah, you'll be able to see how that turns out, even if you're not there, because we're gonna see if we can capture that and send it out to the world. So that's not all that's happened in the world of Wired. That we've got conventions ahoy, but there's also an update on Deliver Us the Moon, right, Steve?
yeah. We had Deliver Us the Moon. Was supposed to launch on Stadia on Friday, April 1st. Um, it wasn't a joke. We
No.
did have a slight delay with takeoff. I can say all that. Houston, we have a problem and all that. There's a minor
Mhm.
delay. It's coming very, very, very soon.
Yeah.
The nicest thing about it has been the reaction from all the stadiums.
Mm.
Um, they're a lovely bunch, aren't they? I mean, it
Yeah.
really surprises me. They're just, any other platform you were to delay on, you'd get a lot of finger poking and things like that. The stadiums are like, oh yeah, brilliant. Just make it right for us. Thank you. They're
I, I
really nice. They're really nice.
I think the sort of ironic thing there is Stadia is one of the only platforms where the people on it don't actually have to wait. They can just play
Yes,
everything
yeah.
instantly.
Yeah, and
So
as soon as it's there, it's there. They've
e-
got it. So
exactly. So you'd imagine maybe you might make the assumption that they were quite an impatient bunch, but on the contrary, turns out they're pretty chilled. They don't care about frame rates. They're just
yeah, they're
out here
just
for a good time.
They just
Yeah.
honestly, straight away it was things like, "Oh well, yeah, you take your time." It was like this, and I was like, "Oh, they're so nice." They're such a good bunch of people, and we've got them in we've got like Stadia chats and things like this, and they're just great. They really are.
Yeah, there's been a lot of love, I think, from Wired to Stadia, which is nice to see, because I think that's the thing that's bit of a coin flip at the moment, whether there's going to be Stadia support for games and stuff over the since launch. Really, it was a
Yeah,
bit up in the air, so it's really really yeah, it's really nice, and I guess it's been reciprocated, so that's really good. I've got one last bit of Wired propaganda, and it's just 3 words, right, that I've got here. So I'm desperate to know more. It just says Wired cat food.
yeah. Well, what do you want to know? We've
What
decided.
flavor?
Look,
Yeah.
look. All businesses have got to expand and diversify, and we just thought that cat food
Hmm?
was a burgeoning. We all love cats. We're
We
gamers.
do like cats, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
burgeoning market, so why not make our own cat food? So what we've done, and this is absolutely genuine, they've gone now, you've missed it, but we got 100 samples of cat food made up.
yeah.
Um, we put them live on our store on Friday morning. and anyone that has ordered one's going to get one. It's as simple as that. They genuinely are going to receive the cat food.
Well, is it dry cat food or wet cat food?
Tin. We've had it.
Oh, is it
I will.
it's a tin?
I was involved in the taste test. That's all I'll say. So it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was it was nice. It was delicious. Um, I think I have to put a disclaimer in here, not for human consumption, don't I? Just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we've genuinely gone out and had some cat food made, and we've said put it in a tin. We'll send this out.
How did
Let's
I
see
miss
how it
this?
goes. Well,
How d
let's see how it goes. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, but cats, big important thing in people's lives. Cat food, they need to
They
eat.
do need to eat.
There
There's
you
no
go.
denying. Okay, well, look, I'll tell you what. Maybe we can sort of collate the the reviews afterwards, and we'll have a look at some of the testimonials about the cat food. If you were one of the lucky purchasers of the Wired cat food, feel free to email in your thoughts on the product in comparison to say, uh, some of the biggest competitor products, Whiskers, other cat foods are available. At unplugged at wiredproductions.com, or you can tweet us at wiredp, P for production, or P for pet food. And we'll be able to ascertain whether this is a verified purchase, not like a joke purchase when people go on Amazon and leave reviews saying this was the worst decision of my life, you know, but it might be the worst decision in your life if you eat it. Don't eat it. Don't eat the cat food. Um, that's interesting. And I can't believe I missed out on that because I would have bought some, but I don't even have a
You can
cat
be
either,
quick.
which is a bit.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have sent them. We know these things. We just know.
That's
You
that,
don't look like a cat person.
well, no, I've got a dog and I've got 2 children as well. Do you know what I mean? So that's just as messy, really.
Yeah.
Apart from out of the dog and the children, one of them will grow up to make me hot drinks on demand.
Is
So
that the dog?
well, we're trying the trainer there. So yeah, thank you very much for the Wire production segment of the ages. I think Aaron's age reveal, pet food, sustenance, general sustenance, and yeah, the lineup at WASD is actually very, very interesting. And yeah, just another shout out to the Stadians. We're gonna take a look at the wider world because there's actually been a lot going on this week. Just before we get into our interview segment of this episode with the legendary StephofAnime, but before that, let's look at what I normally say what Aaron stole from Google, but I've actually just gone and found it
Yeah.
this time. So let's run the rhythm.
News we stole from Google.
Also, can I just say I'm very disappointed in myself that when the Wired cat food knowledge came out, I didn't use the deals for meals because that would have been a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
You can't win them all. Whatever. Right. Okay. So the world's been pretty busy this week because we're in a very I don't know. We're getting primed and ready for a big summer ahead, I think. And I think when I was younger, the internet YouTube was kind of knocking about but just before YouTube, E3 was being broadcast to specialist sites and things like that, and you could watch E3 live. And I always wanted to go. I've never been to E3, and now I work in the games industry for a living, and I'm very fortunate. But I'm really wondering if I ever will, because for the 3rd time in a row, E3 has been officially cancelled. This time, I think it was actually just going to be a digital showcase anyway. But E3 is once again cancelled. And the reason that I wanted to bring that up is because I just mentioned, people are gearing up for a very busy summer of games shows, and there's like a showcase here and a Jeff Keighley marathon there. But it starts normally with E3. People, that's like the kind of, the big one that people pivot around and stuff. But it's not going on this year. So, Steve, I'd just like to hear what your opinion is of E3s of old, if you have any strong feelings, and how you feel about potentially never seeing an E3 again. Any strong feelings?
Well, I think it's a real shame. I think it's, E3. I mean, I've never been myself, but it was always something that you talked about and you got excited to. And, just being a gamer,
Yeah.
we'd get on and like, what's happening at E3? And I'm going back to when you had to wait for your E3 news in the following month's magazines,
Hmm.
with screenshots. This was well before videos and things like this. But things that happen at E3 keep you talking for years and years and years. But maybe times have moved on, and I think Nintendo Directs have
Hmm.
had such a big impact, and the PlayStation State of Play, they're sort of like maybe they're the final nail in the coffin for an event like E3.
You know what? That's kind of it. I think a lot of things run off I guess, the prestige or like
Yeah,
the expectation that it needs to exist. But yeah, I guess the pandemic maybe made people realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. And when people are doing it's they realize, oh, I don't have to pay $400 a day to get my booth cleaned, which is the real price, by the way, of the booth
yeah,
cleaning. So it's the money attached to it is ridiculous. But I guess E3 and I guess one of the elements that I saw about this that I thought was quite interesting is that like E3 leans more and more each year on like star power, and there's a lot of like moments that just don't quite feel, I don't know, like legit. I don't know, like did we need Keanu Reeves for
yeah,
Cyberpunk or something like that? There's lots of moments. There was Usher, there was a car, there was the Han Solo dance. There's loads of really good E3 moments and things like that. But
But what's your favourite moment from any E3?
mine, well, ones that aren't really like cringy and bad because I do thrive off that. To be honest, I remember I was about that 9 or 10, and I got a magazine July or something like that, and was looking through E3 screenshots, like you described, to show off the reveal of Metal Gear Solid 2,
Yeah,
which was incredible. However, I think in the most recent memory, the most excited I've been for a very, very long time was like the Final Fantasy VII remake announcement, which I think was all the way back in 2015, I think, something like that, and maybe even earlier. But that was crazy because like that was one of my favorites ever growing up. I really, really, really liked that reveal because it didn't have much to say. But I don't know, like there was like the year of the Wii, the Nintendo Wii. That was a pretty cool
yeah,
one. Reggie and that like going strong. You got there was a lot because it went really bad. Like the Wii thing went really bad. And when you go back, like the good thing is we can look back and laugh because it was a huge success. The Nintendo Wii was obviously a huge success, and I think that that's like Nintendo's like thing. Nintendo's whole thing should be who's laughing now. Because when they announced the
yeah,
Nintendo Direct, everyone was like, "Are you crazy?" And now everyone has like Nintendo constantly. They're just on a different level with
yeah,
that.
yeah. I remember people saying, two screens? Why would you have a handheld with two screens? And that was for the Nintendo DS. And everyone's saying, "What a you've got the Game Boy. Why would we want two screens? What a silly idea!
Hmm.
What?"
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that
And then all of a sudden, you've got Helen Mirren one. She's got one.
yeah, and if it's good enough for Helen Mirren, right? That's what we
That's
should use.
that's my rule for
I was
life.
gonna say that's the metric now,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah. I wonder what Helen Mirren's Helen, if you're listening, you can email in at unplugged at wiredproductions.com and let us know your favorite E3 moment. If you're not Helen Mirren, you can also do that. To be honest, because there's loads. Like I want to know what you revel in. Is it the cringe? Is it the success? Is it the cool stuff?
w-
If
well, it's difficult in it because everyone says it was a cringy moment, but I was really hyped for it, and that's the reveal of Peggle 2.
Right. Yeah, look, you know what? I have so much love for PopCap and like all the things that they did. Like, in my opinion, one of the best studios to
Yeah,
to ever do it. Because they were just doing something. What's weird is when you look at like, especially if you're a younger person now, and you look at like any of the PopCap games, they look like they would be rife with microtransactions.
yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Peggle 2, that was genius. Actually, my wife's not much of a gamer, right? But on Game Pass, you've got Peggle 1 and 2. And
yep.
when she moved over from Peggle 1 to Peggle 2, I said, you need to see this. Let me just quickly show you how this was revealed.
And it's just it was just such yes, people will say it was cringe, but I thought it was just such a joyous moment that he just couldn't contain the fact that he was revealing this game, and it's a brilliant game. I love the Peggle series,
Yeah.
and I still regularly play them.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So listen, some homework required watching for those at home. Please check out the Nintendo Wii reveal from I think 2006, and just search E3 Peggle 2. Say no more. So E3, pour one out. We'll see you next year, baby. I hope. Jeff Keighley did post a kind of like, that meme of like the guy who plays the Flash doing like the peace sign by a grave. Jeff Keighley kind of did that with a cheeky wink, which is a lot of talk for a man who just peddles adverts. But shouts out to Jeff Keighley. I'm really looking forward to watching Summer Games Fest, and I hope he brings the goods. But that was a cheeky wink. Next,
Well, he's a cheeky winker.
He is
that.
He is a cheeky winker. He is. Last year was Elden Ring, so good luck because that's where the bar is, Jeff. I want to talk to you about something I didn't think I'd ever speak to you about in our live, Steve. To be honest, in our professional career together, it's Fortnite. It's something that I don't often talk about at all, and my full-time job in the daytime is working with content creators. But I actually managed to avoid Fortnite to great effect. However, it's been unavoidable this week because it's suddenly become the most talked about game in the world again. But why? Well, let me tell you. It's because Fortnite, the Battle Royale game, whose USP, unique selling point, is the fact that you can also kind of build on the fly during the Battle Royale mode, where, of course, 100 players jump out of a flying bus, and then the map gets smaller and only one can survive. But during this, you can build, but they've got a mode now where you can't build anymore. They've just taken it out, and people are going mad for it. Like, actually, everybody, like even like very famous Fortnite haters, like popular streamers like Dr. Disrespect, people are saying this is the best thing ever, and all they've done is they've taken out the ability to craft. Steve, Fortnite, what's your experience? Do you remember the Fortnite of old?
I've played one game of Fortnite. That's all I've ever played. And literally, I came second.
Very good.
Put the controller down. I went, I'm retiring now. I'll take that as, second's a decent score. That's it. That's it. The building part I couldn't do. I have a 15-year-old son, and he's fully PC'd up on it. He's really into it.
Yeah.
And I watch him play it, and it's all like this, and he just builds these structures, and you're like, I just don't understand it. I just want a shooter. So now it tempts me back because it's just a shooter. That's all I want. Because the premise is still, Battle Royale as a premise is still brilliant. Last one to survive. Fantastic. We've been doing that for years. I was Bomberman. That's a Battle Royale as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
That certainly is. One sec, Steve. Your webcam has just frozen on my side completely.
Oh yes.
But yeah. So Curtis, if you're listening. Okay, so here we are. We're back after the little break. Sorry about that, Curtis. But we're okay. Steve, you're in motion again.
Yep.
And we were just talking about Bomberman, so I'll just kind of interject with my thoughts on that, and then I'll just go on a tangent because you've probably forgotten what you mean. But Bomberman is like a battle royale, and they had like is it called? What's it called? It's like Bomberman and then a number after it. I was gonna say 64, but that's probably because of the Nintendo 64. But there is a Bomberman that I think is available on Game Pass, and it is like huge scale Bomberman, like 24 players.
Yeah, I think it's also available. Just to go back, you can get that free on Stadia as well.
There we go, and that's like a perfect game for Stadia because even with a little bit of latency, you still know what you're doing. But I played PUBG when it came out, and that wasn't like the first battle royale, like big one. I guess the first like proper thing to do this exact mode was like I think it was called H1Z1, and that was in like 2015, I think. But PUBG was 2017 and did really well. And I actually a little bit of I don't hate Fortnite. By the way, like I'm not trying to sort of flex on anyone's score here, Steve, but last night after recording the interview with our esteemed guest StephofAnime, who will be joining us momentarily, I played 4 games of Fortnite and won 3 of them in a row.
Wow.
The first one I jumped off a building because I thought there was a parachute. And and Steph is my witness. I couldn't believe it. I've never been so good. Then I realized I had that like sinking feeling that it was like just the time that like the Americans had finished school. So I was probably just battering a bunch of 13-year-olds at a shooting game online at nearly midnight.
Yeah.
So then I hung up the gloves. Yeah. I remember I used to love this. In fact, I still do. There's this game I love, which again, Stadia actually revived. There's one of my favorite games ever. Is this seemingly missable tower defense game called Orcs Must Die, and
Yeah,
it's like an action. There was a game on the Xbox 360 called Toy Soldiers, which was quite similar. But it was like you're running around and you're making traps, and then Orcs Must Die 2 came out. They are bangers, and they're like £1 on Steam now. But Stadia brought it back recently. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Fortnite started off like that. It started off as a bit of a Orcs Must Die pastiche, really.
Yeah.
You would spend all day making your fort, and then at night, waves of enemies would come, and they just not many people cared. So they were just like, "Oh, we made this little battle royale mode." Can you remember that back a few years ago? Yeah, 7 years on, and now Ariana Grande's in there, and then everyone's still playing it. Like, unbelievable. So yeah, good, and it's interesting to hear that. Like, even yourself, you're saying this is it. It takes away everything and just makes it a shooter again.
Yeah.
Kind of. No defense. There's no defense-based PvE stuff. So it's just shooting. All right. So that's Fortnite. That's a very cutting-edge look at the at modern gaming. You've got Doctor Strange. You've got Ariana Grande. You've got Travis Scott, whoever he is, doing a concert inside there. But let's talk about 1990, because back in those days, there was a video game made called Monkey Island. And it was created by like Lucasfilm Games or something. And then they made the sequel, LeChuck's Revenge, a year later. I got into this a little bit later. I got in on this game called The Curse of Monkey Island, 6, 7, 8 years later. The first PC game I ever played, actually. But yesterday, there was some very exciting news because they announced the return to Monkey Island, which is called Return to Monkey Island. And it's a sequel to LeChuck's Revenge from 1991. So, Steve, can you let the people at home know a little bit about Monkey Island? You were probably about 3 when this game came out.
Yeah. It's just a point and click. It's just a absolutely beautiful point and click game, but it's one of those games that's genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the big thing about it is so many games try humor and completely miss the mark, and you're like, oh, that's not really funny, is it? But it genuinely was a funny game. And it's got beautiful artwork, beautiful music. And do you remember the Dialer piracy disc?
Yeah,
I'm hoping to bring that back with it as well. I want that back. So that's it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I don't know if you've played any of Ron Gilbert's other games.
I played Ron Gilbert. So Ron Gilbert, for the context of those who don't know, did some of the OG ones, and he's been attached to this project. That's another thing that was interesting. He was he's attached to it. Ron Gilbert is doing this. It's not a different team of people, because it's been 32 years he's doing it. But I played well, he had something to do with Total Annihilation, the RTS game, which I played recently. But I think it was Ron Gilbert. Steve, you'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think he was the guy who did Thimbleweed Park recently, wasn't he?
That's the which really showed that as a genre this hasn't gone away, and people absolutely love that game. Again, it was X-Files, but with very much real humor. There was a clown that was horrible in it. It was a real nasty piece of work, but that was a beautiful game. But Ron Gilbert, I want him to bring back Freddy Fish. Don't know if you ever remember those games.
I do. I met one of my best friends in the world by watching their stream, and they were playing Freddy Fish and talking about Twin Peaks. And I messaged them saying, "Do you want this game about H.P. Lovecraft?" And we've been best mates ever since. But it started by me watching someone playing Freddy Fish, which I didn't know about it until I watched him play it. But he's him and Tim Schafer worked together on a lot of stuff, right? Tim Schafer from Double Fine. So, like, I think Ron Gilbert's like probably not as known as Tim Schafer, but I know that the work that they did together was really inspirational. Like, I this Curse of Monkey Island I got into because I had this game called Broken Sword on the PlayStation, which is another kind of graphic adventure, point and click and stuff. So then I went to pay homage, like, to the classics, went to pay tribute. I got the Monkey Island. I played them through just a few years ago, and I've got to say, we were talking about it last time you were with us, and for those that haven't, checked out the previous episodes with Steve joining about music, we're talking about video game soundtracks. The Monkey Island soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yeah, it
Absolutely
is.
phenomenal. Like, yeah, there's a real bounce to it. It feels really good. Surely a big inspiration for anyone that's done something since. It's like, you know, all these TikTok sea shanties, man. They could never. Have a look into
Yeah.
this Monkey Island. Just pop it on. Yeah. Return to Monkey Island then. It coming out this year after 32 years away. 31 years since Monkey Island 2, which is a sequel to. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting news. It's cool to see stuff like this, isn't it? The really, really old, iconic IP brought back. But it's quite rare that you see the originals attached to it.
Yeah, I think what's important with this though is that it is Ron Gilbert that's come back.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
still been making games. He's still been making games of a real high quality, like Thimbleweed Park. He's coming back and making this. People were going mad for it on Twitter yesterday. I mean, they were just completely losing it. I think it's going to be mad. And to be honest, straight away, my initial thought was, oh, I hope the soundtrack gets a release on vinyl, and I'll be buying that. That was literally my initial thought, because
Yeah.
even the little snippet is a lovely little sea shanty pirate track.
This is what I mean. That was the thing that I was listening out for straight away. I was like, "Are we gonna have it?" Like, you know, you get that a little bit in Sea of Thieves these days. They've done well
Yeah.
with that, but for this, I was like, "Oof." So yeah, it's, you know, and it's just worth mentioning because people are so often forgotten, I suppose, that it was three people. There was three people involved in Monkey Island, right? The other being Tim Schafer, and alongside Ron Gilbert, there was David Grossman, and he's
Yeah.
also returning. So that's something like Ron Gilbert's like the big, he's the Hideo Kojima type name. But you know, David Grossman, he's also responsible for some really, really interesting stuff. Like he did Day of the Tentacle and stuff like that. And then I guess most well known for joining Telltale Games and being one of the first people in that. You know, short lived. That was like a supernova. Telltale Games, wasn't it? They
Yeah.
just came out of nowhere, made a million games, and then just
Won every Game of the Year award.
yeah,
and
then
then
imploded
Yeah.
ultimately. So yeah, Dave Grossman also returning on this one. So, and it's out this year. That's another
Yeah,
thing. We
it's
were just talking
amazing.
about E3, and we were saying about, well, I was saying about Final Fantasy. 7 years on or whatever, you finally get it. This is like, boom, you want it, you got it this year. So very, very good. Before we pass it over to StephofAnime to talk all things anime, let's talk about something, yes, from Japan. Something, yes, enjoyed by the televisual medium. Let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie 2. Me and Aaron spoke about this briefly, Steve, but you know, different tastes. I'd like to query: did you watch the first Sonic the Hedgehog film?
I have, yeah. I enjoyed the first one
Oh, and you enjoyed it, okay?
with my children.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. Fantastic excuse. Absolutely, yeah. I went to see it, and not that I need an excuse, to be completely honest with you. Not that you need an excuse if you're listening. But I took my daughter. How old was she at the time? About 8, 9, something like that. And yeah, that when I did the Green Hill Zone, which is one of my favorite pieces of video game music. Sonic soundtrack's okay, but that song is like, and hearing that all like orchestral was like powerful for me. I really liked that, and I actually thought Jim Carrey returning after he's not been in many movies over the last few years. He's been focusing on other stuff. He came back and he really did it, didn't he? He really gave you the
Yeah.
Eggman that you'd want. So they've made the second movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I haven't actually seen it yet. I am going to go and see it this week, but I haven't yet. I was wondering if you have, and if you haven't, then we'll move swiftly on, to be honest.
I haven't seen it, but I am going this weekend to see it, and it's all about Jim Carrey. That's the only reason I'll go and see it. Is it's Jim Carrey. Have I froze again?
You have, yeah, but
Yeah.
we'll just
Okay.
we'll just wrap it up and then
Okay.
we'll keep you.
Yeah, it's all about Jim Carrey. I love him. I think he's just brilliant. And that's the reason I'll go and see Sonic 2.
Yeah, exactly the same. I did like the ending when they teased a bit of Tails, and I was like, okay, Tails is pretty cool. And then yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to.
Isn't Idris Elba in this one?
That's a. You know what? I was just about to say. I'm interested to see Idris Elba as Knuckles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do with that? Good luck. But
Yes, you know, Idris is like he's
yeah,
very much, you know, how's he gonna Knuckles?
I'm really interested. Like I always think of Idris as Stringer Bell from The Wire. So,
Yeah.
so I can't imagine. But yeah, so that has been so exciting that you've frozen in stupor. To
Yeah.
be honest, for those that are watching, Steve is frozen, and we're not going to restart Steve's webcam because we're about to cut to the interview segment. So Steve can stay in
you can
status.
unfreeze it if you actually. I think it unfreezes that if you hit the subscribe button at the bottom.
It's like a paywall.
Yeah, that's it.
If you want Steve in motion, your free trial of Steve is over.
Yeah.
Okay, unlock the full subscription by hitting the subscribe button. Speaking of subscribing, how am I going to make this a content creator segue? I don't think I'm going to be honest. What I'll say is, every month, one of our special guests will now be a full-time content creator because, you know, there's people who listen to this that might be starting streaming, might be interested in starting streaming, might not care at all about that. They just want to know, how do these people get to play video games for a living? Really, just how? Well, and we're going to ask a variety of creators to join us and tell us about this for some streamers stories segment each month. And I'd like to start this one. It would be wrong for me to start this without me speaking to one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Probably the person I speak to the most because we work together in the daytime. The most there person there is, really. It's StephofAnime, a partner streamer, charity fundraiser, and anime fanatic who will be running us through her rise to success and fame. She'll talk to us about Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Pokemon, the first game she ever played on stream, and lots more. But I'll allow her energetic self to take it from here. Curtis, dear editor, segue, baby.
Wired Unplugged.
Hello, Steph. It's the interview segment of the podcast. I've just done you a massive intro, which has been really professional and, you know, all things.
I can almost hear it right now.
Exactly. But you can't because I'm recording it in the future. This is a new segment of the. Well, it's not. It's an existing segment of the podcast where we interview people, but we have been thinking about highlighting the future class of 2022, 23, 24, 25 by talking to some streamers that are really doing some interesting stuff. And I wanted to start the segment by talking to you, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and probably the person I speak to the most, I think, in the whole wide world, which is quite a lot, isn't it, to be honest?
Only a little bit. I think we only talk just a fraction of the day, maybe for like 5 minutes every couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah, and that's still the person I speak to. No.
I'm a streamer. Do I leave my house? Do I socialize with other people?
Yeah, it does
No.
Discord count? Okay, well, I've just done a nice intro and it's been full of like, you know, hyperbole and things like that. But for the people at home listening all around the world, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the people what type of stuff that you stream?
Oh, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Steph. I am a content creator over on Twitch and as well as YouTube. I've been creating Pokemon and Nintendo variety content for over 6 years now. It's been a long time and my content has evolved. So I got my start in the Pokemon community. Pokemon's my favorite game of all time, but you know, as my name has anime in it, I'm also a huge fan of JRPGs, MMOs like Final Fantasy 14, and a whole bunch of community-driven stuff.
Right. Perfect start. So yeah, actually the biggest icebreaker, I suppose, is right there in your name. It's StephofAnime, which is really putting yourself out there. I always think of it kind of like in the medieval times, it would be Jake of House Kulkovsky. So like the banner that you fly is that of just full on anime, right? And have you found that like that has been a benefit or a hindrance to your stream? Like, does it like bring people in and go, hey, what anime do you like? And do you get sick of that after 6 years?
Not at all. It's the best thing. It works exactly as I've intended it to. So I picked Steph of Anime for two simple reasons. My name is Steph, and I want people to call me Steph, and I love anime. And immediately, when someone sees my name,
Yeah.
it's as if they've found their people, or at least that's how I've found it. Is that someone will immediately be like, "What's your favorite anime?" Or "Hey, I really like this show," and just like that, I have a reason to be friends with someone. And to me, it just felt like a really easy way to break the ice. And so I would never change my username. I love it a lot. And I know that sometimes people can be shy to talk about things that they're passionate about. So when you know for a fact that someone's into the same thing as you, it just makes it easier to start that conversation. So yeah, I love it. It's not annoying. Please, let's talk about anime for 2 hours. I'll do it.
Well, we'll actually we end up doing that in the real world quite a lot. So
We do.
I'm trying to keep this really on topic, but I will mention that and that's one of the things I've noticed about anime. I don't consider myself much of an anime watcher, but I have slyly got quite a few of the big named anime series under my
You'll
belt.
say you're not much of an anime watcher yet. You've watched all the classics. You've seen so many fantastic series. We talk enough to know you're a true fan.
Well, actually, that's kind of it, and I think that's one of the things that I'm really, you know, surprised by with anime, like time and time again. I think when I was growing up, if you were into video games, you were like a gamer, which was like pretty nerdy and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And like if you was into like anime, it was the same thing, and like wrestling or whatever. But now, as time's moved on, all the things that I liked growing up are really cool now. So actually, it
Yeah.
just I was a trailblazer. But it's not like so much of like a thing now. Like I was really big into heavy metal when I was younger, to the point where if I saw someone with, and even to this day, if I see someone with like a very cult, like a black metal band
Right.
T-shirt or something, it's a conversational point. But you can't call yourself like the Welsh gamer, and people will be like, "Oh, what games do you like?" Because like no one really cares. But with anime, everyone has an
But
opinion.
you know what? Someone would be like, "Oh, you're from Wales," and they pick up on that.
Yes, they would, because there's only 20 of us on the planet. So yeah, so anime is like the thing where I think loads of people have an opinion on it. Loads of people have got like taste, and it's like, but people are really, really passionate about it. Like, unlike like if you called yourself a foodie or a gamer, people are like, eh. But with anime, it happens. So just for the folks at home, have you got and if let's imagine, let me make a straw man up here. Imagine there's somebody listening to this. Let's say they're
Yeah.
like between 35 and 50. They've Googled anime and they're just like, this is just drawings of people in high school. What anime would you recommend for people to maybe go, oh, okay, it's not all that? It's a bit of a tough one, I know
Oh,
this, but you
so
are the
this
voice
is
of
a
anime.
difficult question because I don't believe in just necessarily having this one anime fits all. I strongly believe there is an anime out there for everyone, and you kind of have to do a diagnostic test for the person you're recommending. Because just like if someone says, "Hey, what do I want to watch on the television?" You're not going to necessarily just say, "Oh, you're going to watch,
The
Grey's
Sopranos.
Anatomy or whatever." Yeah, Sopranos. I don't know if people watch this not anime. I didn't know. I was trying to think of a non-anime
Grey's Anatomy.
example.
Okay, great, nice one.
I don't know how to feel about that. But you're gonna say, "Oh, well, what kind of things do you like? Are you in the mood for a detective mystery? Are you
Yeah.
looking for like a Marvel action-packed film?" And I think there's this huge misconception where people think anime is just this one type of cartoon, and sometimes it gets a rap that it's a lewd type of cartoon. And like there's so much more. You have anime that are these beautiful slice of life, like, calm, serene stories, like, families. You have action packed things that you have some of the wacky stuff for sure, but anime is just so wide reaching that it's really tough. So I have to preface it by saying, listen, if anyone wants anime recommendations, I think we can tailor it based off the type of genres you like. Because if you like Western crime shows, I would say, oh, Death Note's a really great starter anime. But if you're not really into that type of thing, I'm not going to recommend that. I will say that my favorite anime of all time is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and part of the reason that that's my favorite anime is because I think it's a great gateway for people. And anime does have a couple of cultural niches, I guess you could say. Like there are things with anime that are bizarre if you've never watched anime before, and some play into that more than others. And I think before you introduce someone into some of like the crazier stuff, you can pick shows that have a little bit less of that so you can ease someone into it. And so Fullmetal Alchemist is always a huge recommend. I think My Hero Academia is one that broke into the mainstream. Attack on Titan has also broken to the mainstream, but that one also is not for everyone because it's a little bit on the gorier side. So again, like what's your comfort level with that? But I would say My Hero Academia and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood are two that I think a lot of people can appreciate for what they are and find the artistry. And of course, the Studio Ghibli films are another one that I would
they're
go
pretty
and recommend.
universal, right? They're like
Yeah.
they're like a Disney alternative or something, I guess is the best way to describe them. If you
I
really
mean,
don't
Disney
know.
has. Disney had a play in a lot of the production of most
yeah,
of
they
them.
certainly did. Like in my house, there's a Civil War where it's like me and my eldest daughter who's like really into like Studio Ghibli right now, but then my wife's trying to get a come on, watch Beauty and the Beast, and it's like no. So there's actually
a really great director, Hosoda, just made that Belle film. So maybe that's the compromise.
I thought that, yeah, exactly. So that's like some sort of like nice adaptation on that.
Right.
Like there's like Ponyo, Studio Ghibli's Ponyo is an adaptation of the Little Mermaid story,
Yeah.
right? And like that is like infinitely better. But so I actually wanted to talk a little bit about the crisscross of worlds here. So for those that are kind of listening and maybe not really aware of stuff on Twitch outside of like people playing Call of Duty or whatever, there's like lots of different things on it. And actually my favorite anime it might not be for long because I am watching some really good stuff at the moment, actually, because of Steph's recommendation, but they're all like really weird slice of life things about like wolf girls and apples and stuff. But Neon Genesis Evangelion was like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And for those that don't know, it's kind of like a 90s sci-fi existential robot series. And then it's like over the years grown a huge following. And they've kind of done a reboot of the series via a trilogy of films. And Steph, you were actually invited by Amazon or Twitch, they're the same company, to like do a watch party live on Twitch of one of the most iconic cult sci-fi things ever. Can you just talk about that a little bit, like how it came about and how it was? Because I think that that's something that's fairly unique, fairly unusual, and as an anime connoisseur and someone with anime in the title, to have the opportunity to showcase that must have been really cool, right?
Oh my gosh, I feel so grateful to have had that opportunity. Yeah, so Amazon Prime Video reached out to me because Twitch has this brand new feature called Watch Parties, where essentially it's a way to legally get together with your community and watch films.
Just laughing at the word legally. Yeah, carry on.
I know, but there is a lot of messy stuff around, the media that you're consuming, especially when it comes to live streaming and the types of music you're allowed to use, the types of resources you're allowed to use.
Yeah.
And so Twitch created this endemic way for creators to go ahead and watch series that are available on Amazon Prime Video with the viewers, and to kind of celebrate the launch of the newest Ava films that were coming out. I was asked to kind of show off the feature with my community, so we got to all sit, grab some popcorn, and we it was amazing because we kind of created this remote movie theater experience right on Twitch, right? And so we were all able to kind of watch with our own Amazon Prime Video screens, and then like the stream, it was all like connected at the same time. Everyone could see my reaction. It was awesome.
It's a really cool thing, and it's something. Yeah, things are getting a lot more communal these days. I know
Yeah.
that like you can have a watch party on Disney Plus now and things like that.
Yeah.
Where you can, if somebody needs to go and get a drink, they can pause it for everybody or whatever and abuse that feature.
Well, and I think the coolest thing is like the subtitles, and like all of the audio was like independently controlled. So if you're someone who needs subtitles, like you could put them on, but it doesn't put it on for all of the chat. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And and do you think that that because really, I suppose, although you're a content creator on multiple platforms, Twitch is what you're probably most well known for, and they just sort of found you through that and your love for anime. They just found you organically.
Maybe they looked up anime on Twitch and my username came up.
That really
got that brand awareness. I mean,
it's interesting because there's a lot of people who I'll speak to as the weeks go on who will have really interesting anecdotes. But for me, that's like one of the ones that really stands out because it's like, if you're into anime, like Ava, and you know how important like that is. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like being invited to stream The Sopranos or something. It's iconic, basically.
I felt very honored, and I got sent a really cool box that had some signed prints and things, and they honestly, it was the perfect fit for my community. I mean, again, I play a lot of video games and I love games. I love Pokemon, I love my JRPGs, but I also love to just chat about anime while I'm playing games, and that's kind of what I think people know me for, is they can come in and say, "Oh, Steph, have you watched the newest episode of this type of thing?" And we can have a little bit of a conversation about it. For me, I'm a very interactive streamer and very community focused and driven, and so yeah, it was a perfect fit to do something with everybody and also do something anime related.
Well, actually, that's something I wanted to ask you about because it's kind of second nature to you at this point, and
Yeah.
I've got a good understanding of it too. But what's it like playing games whilst you're being constantly, I guess, for lack of a better word, distracted by a community that are as passionate as yours? Does it factor into the games that you play, and how do you manage that challenge of constantly going on tangents whilst trying to maintain gameplay? Is that something you have to factor in when you're choosing games, or does it just naturally fit into place with the games that you're choosing to play? And what are those games?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, the answer is definitely yes. And I would say it's a happy balance that you have to keep, because you want to play the games that you yourself want to play. But at the same time, the reason why I stream to Twitch is because I want to share the experience and make it something that's a bit of like a group effort in some way, whether that's my chat helping me out with the playthrough or whether it's just us sharing the journey together. To me, the reason why I hit the go live button is because I don't want to be by myself. And what drew me to Twitch in the first place was a way to make friends. If I can give a bit of like an origin story,
Mm.
I started streaming as soon as I moved to Canada, and I went to go to university, and so I uprooted from all my friends. And so I changed countries, like from the US to Canada. So it wasn't too far, but it was far enough to where I just didn't have any local friends. And so it was a way that I could just remotely play games, and then get on a call with some friends and just do something that was a little bit more social while I was still kind of getting my footing and things like that. And so when I pick my games, I do think, is this something that I can have more of a shared experience with? Is this something that my chat can have input with? Is this something that I like? And then there are some games where I think, okay, if I'm going to get too distracted, or, maybe I have to read too many finite details to where I'm kind of losing what's happening in the story. Like maybe we do that off stream, and sometimes like it is like a story driven game, but if we're all like really immersed and engrossed, then my audience is loving it, then we'll play that on stream. And so it's kind of like a give and take of finding, okay, what do I like? But also, I mean, I am doing this to kind of hang out with everyone else too.
Well, you said that you moved from the States to Toronto.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in the States?
So I was born in Brooklyn, and then I lived a lot of my life in Jersey.
So I just want to make a quick pit stop to ask,
Yeah.
what makes the perfect pizza?
Oh, the perfect pizza?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, you're asking me to start a war, I think, with everyone listening in on
That's
this
right.
podcast, huh? I guess I have to be that obnoxious person and say that New York pizza is the best. It's the quality of the dough, I think. I
Is
mean,
it? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so. I don't know. I just like a good crispy pizza.
What's the
I
best
think.
topping?
Ooh, ooh. Okay. I love it, like a meat lovers, but also, you know what I really miss from New York? Like a good chicken bacon ranch pizza. Like
What's
you
that?
can't get
I'm
that.
British, so I don't really know what that means. Like,
Okay, so it's a pizza that has
Mhm.
cheese.
Mhm.
It's got chicken,
Yeah.
bacon, and ranch dressing.
I don't know what I was expecting. Okay.
Wow, who would have thought?
That is brilliant. I've got one of them, and I use it to play the Wired Unplugged sound effects and things like that. But I've never, no one's ever used my powers
We're doing
against
it
me.
live.
It's like Harry Potter and Voldemort. This clinking ones.
That's the problem when you bring a streamer on board. Let me
Yeah.
have some creative control.
I can't believe I'm British and just brought up Harry Potter and Voldemort, and you're from New York / Jersey and brought up pizza. Well, I brought it up, to be fair, but you did bring the ranch up, which was, eye-opening and stereotypical as well. Okay, so I was wondering, you're very like I say, for just by the way, I was almost tempted to just never explain this, but for those that don't know, me and Steph in our day jobs, work together.
We do. I was just kidding earlier when I said that we don't talk a lot. I work
Yeah.
very closely with Jake. So by day I get to help launch cool games, and then
Yeah.
at night I stream many hours.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, so because of that, I know you pretty well, and I think you're pretty good at remembering things, and you're pretty in tune with your emotions. I was wondering, I'm gonna try and ask every streamer that I speak to this question,
Yeah.
and I'd like to sort of look back to the very first stream, or at least the earliest you can remember, and then in a minute we'll go and look at your latest stream. We're not gonna actually go and look. I just mean we'll
You could have
mentally
prepped me in
visit it.
advance. I would have brought assets.
I
would
know,
have brought
yeah,
props.
exactly. Yeah, you would have screen shared, but this goes
I
out to some
would've.
audio people as well, so they only listening. So
I think as a streamer, I lose my sense of embarrassment with some things. I'll be like, oh, let me show you childhood videos. It's all out on the internet now.
yeah, well, that's actually a thing we'll bring up in just a few
Okay.
moments, because you do a lot of stuff for charity, and that's something
Yeah.
I'd like to go into a little bit more in a bit. But I just want to try and remember, like, what can you remember about your first stream? Did you feel nervous? How was the cam quality? Can you even remember what game you played? And I'd
Oh,
like to hear
yeah.
about it. Go on.
Absolutely. Well, I'll have to give a shout out to one of my best friends in the whole world. Her name on Twitch is Jomo Doe. She was one of my first internet friends I ever made, and we go back, and we were wanted to play Undertale together, and instead of us screen sharing it over, I think this was even before. I didn't know what Discord came out in what 25th. I remember we used to play on Skype. We used to screen share on Skype when we wanted to play games together. I think Discord came out in 2014 or 15. I'm not sure. And Undertale was 2015. So
It
I
was
didn't know.
Discord's initial release date was the 13th of May 2015. So
Yes. Okay. So
Good
Discord
knowledge.
had just come out around Undertale, but I didn't know about it until 2016 is when I learned what Discord was. So I know I have a very finite memory when it comes to these things, the timeline. So anyway, I wanted to play Undertale, and so we decided, oh, why don't we just both stream it? And this way, if any of our other friends want to come and watch our playthrough, we can go and do that. And otherwise, I'm in call with my best friend for hours. So whether or not I have someone else in the chat didn't matter. So it's really interesting when people ask me, because I really didn't start to take my stream anywhere. I really just did it because, oh, hey, my friends can kind of come and watch me. And then little by little, new people who I didn't know started to find my stream and interact. And I love making friends. Anyone who knows me knows that friendship is my MO. I love making friends. Like, it's
Yeah.
an anime stereotype, right? The power of friendship. But I love that so much that I think maybe it's because I watch so much anime that it's ingrained in who I am as a person. I'm just a
Maybe.
living anime girl now. That's how it is. But yeah, so honestly, I didn't really feel nervous or anything like that because I didn't really see it as a big deal. And also,
Yeah.
granted, going live in like 2015, it was a different landscape back then. In fact, a lot of people were still a little bit judgmental, I think, when it came to streaming games. Like now, if someone says, oh, hey, I stream on Twitch, people will be like, cool, like that's really awesome. And when I first started, people were like, you're sitting and wasting your time playing games on the internet. Like there was a negative stigma for sure. And people used to tell me I could be spending my time doing better things. And it's not like that so much anymore. But yeah, so I wasn't really nervous at all. But what I will say is I was very shy. And so I think when you look back at my original streams,
Right.
I almost went through inverse puberty. Like because I was so shy, my voice was a little bit lower. Like I didn't show my excitement. And I think that through streaming, it gave me the confidence to like find my voice and express myself how I truly feel about things. And so, yeah, that's my little spiel about that.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. It's interesting that you don't seem to have like a first day in a new job type feeling of okay,
Not at all.
finger over the button that says live, nothing like that. I just looked just out of interest at what was popping in 2015 on Twitch, and it was the year that Bob Ross really took over. That was the year of Bob Ross. So yeah, that's interesting. The other milestone I guess we should touch on, just because I want to hear people's different opinion on it and stuff like that, is and again, just for those who don't really know the law, me and Steph do work together, and our job, we work with content creators full time. So it's mostly streamers, to be honest, right? That's what we do. We send them games basically. And so we follow a lot of content creators. And I mean, even if Steph was just a content creator full time, she'd be following loads of content creators. But the pursuit but Twitch partnership is a
Mhm.
big thing, and I guess it's kind of like the pursuit of many things in life. Of when you get there, you go, hmm, okay. And I wanted to know what that was like when you. Well, can you remember what year you got Twitch partner,
Oh
and what
yeah.
it felt like? What was it like?
Yes, I can. I got partnered January 17th, 2018.
Wow.
So it's been a couple years now at this point. Kind of crazy to think. And gosh, I remember it was really funny because going into the new year, I said, okay, I think I want to make my New Year's resolution for 2018 to apply for Twitch partnership. And then, so I decided this, like, it was about like a week before New Year's, right? I was trying to be well prepared in advance. What are my New Year's resolutions
Yeah.
so that when the first day hits, I'll be ready to go. And then January 1st came, and this is when they rolled out their new Path to Partner program where they were starting to automate the process a little bit more. So, for anyone who doesn't know a lot of the nitty gritty history, partnership used to be a very manual process where you had to apply and fill out all these forms. And then at the end of 2017, they introduced the Path to Partner, where they would tell you you need 75 average viewers, X amount of streams, X amount of this, and then you can like automatically apply for it, or it'll tell you you're now eligible to apply for partner. So it was adding more transparency, all this sort of jazz. And on the 1st of 2018, January 1st, I got a little notification saying, ding, 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 you're now eligible to apply for partnership. And I was like, what? Huh? Huh? What is going on here? So my whole end goal, I was like, wait, I guess I'm doing this now. And so I applied on the 1st of the month, and then on the 17th I heard back. I'm very fortunate that on my first application they accepted me, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about it. It's still surreal. I remember I had just gotten a new PC, and so the PC came in like a day before I heard back. So I was scrambling to like set up my new desktop and like do a celebration stream, and I cried a lot, and it was really meaningful for it
That's
to
really
happen.
nice to hear. I feel like a lot of the partner stories are kind of like people who are partners saying it doesn't matter, don't worry about it, and da da da
I
da
mean, I
da.
do think that's true though. To be honest, I think there is like this glorification of Twitch partnership. And while it is nice and has benefits, like you can 100% be a full time, well established content creator and not have a check mark. And now more than ever, it's very saturated, it's very competitive. Like, even just again, 2018 was a different time. And like January is like a more like off season. Like, it
Yeah,
depends on like the time of season you're like applying for it. And like, when it happened to me, now there are so many streamers, and like I think there's the whole automating of it has its own pros and cons that comes with it. So I do like to stress to people that you are just as valid and can be super established and successful without the check mark, and don't let that define you, because people will notice you. And Jake and I can speak to our day job that we notice tons of content creators with no check mark who are super impactful and
yeah,
successful. And so I like to say that to people. Like, it is really special to me, and like it's cool, but I don't let it like define my who I am as a streamer.
yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that like the big difference with a lot of content creators now is especially like there's like TikTok now, and
Oh yeah.
like people are looking to diversify their platforms a lot more. So with the Twitch partnership, it's a lot more of a monogamous relationship. You can't like
Feed the Twitch gods
feed the Twitch
with
gods.
your hours streamed.
Exactly. So now, a lot of people are free agents. So, like
Yeah.
affiliates, sometimes can get you better deals and
Oh,
things.
true. I am exclusive to Twitch. That is true. I can't live stream on YouTube at the same time or
Exactly.
anything
But
like that.
some
Yeah.
people also just don't mind too much because,
Yeah.
like, it's like Twitch is like their home as much as it changes and
It's
shifts
my
and stuff
home.
like that. Exactly. So it is, and it's somewhere you've stayed, and so you started off in a pretty chilled out way, then playing with Undertale with friends. Take us now to kind of like what like the last couple of streams have been like. Why don't we talk about in fact before that, why don't we talk about something you have done very recently, but it kind of transcends StephofAnime as an individual. It's a collaborative effort, a charity event that you did called The Last Project. And I say you did, but I mean you really shepherded the people together, but it wasn't just you, was it? There's a lot of thought gone into it, and it's an amazing thing I'd like to hear a little bit more of, and it's something I think that you've probably been able to put a bit of your skills that you've learned over the last 6 years towards, right? So how did that come to be? Tell me a little bit about
Oh
the
my
last project.
gosh. I would love to talk about the last project. So, a little bit of context, with streaming, I found my home within the Pokemon community, and there are so many amazing streamers in that directory who have become my very, very good friends. It's again my favorite game of all time. It's very easy for me to go on and on about. Well, I mean, do you see that I have 3 Glaceon plushies?
If you're an
Actually,
audio
4.
listener, no, but just
Yes, you're
trust
not.
us.
Trust me that if you're watching it on the YouTube channel, which is a plug for it, go watch it there.
You
You
can
can see cute
subscribe. It's
plushies.
Wired
Yeah,
Live.
exactly.
Thanks, Steph.
See, that's the whole content creator thing. I got you. so, yeah. So Pokemon community is my home. And, being a woman in the space, over the years, I thought, I think it would be really cool to set up an initiative to empower not only just women, but non binary and marginalized genders in the community and do something really, really nice. And so in 2020, I made a little call out tweet saying, hey, any women, non binary friends who are in the space, do you want to do something cool together and make an impact? And fundraise. Well, the first time I don't think we even fundraised for a charity, but then after we established the initiative and we got our members, into a Discord and, we started kind of, introducing who everyone was, we started to do a ton of different charity events. So the last project has really evolved to not only just highlight amazing members of the Pokemon community and give someone a way to find new creators maybe they haven't beforehand, but now we all are super passionate about fundraising for different charity causes. And we've raised over $90,000 for probably 7 plus different charities at this point and still going. So it's really cool. And it's a really, it's something special and a big part of my life because I've been able to meet so many great friends and the amount of people who made friends with each other through the initiative. That's what it was all about. And so, yeah, I'm so happy to have like helped spearhead it, but really it is just everyone being so talented and amazing. And it's basically like a little Twitch team.
It's really, I think one of the cool things is, especially if you're not really like that aware of Twitch, like it's quite easy to forget the creativity that can go into it. But a lot of charity events are kind of special one shots, or maybe a 4-hour special or something like this. But Last Project is like back to back to back to back to back streams, like a kind of like a radio station, or what I mean, like lots of
We
live.
had 50 streamers in a 108-hour long marathon over a couple 2 weekends ago to
It's
give some context.
Which is really cool because it doesn't matter who you are in the world or where you are or what time you're on or what your sleeping pattern's like. You can check it out and it's like a really nice little bit of flavor. There's that cohesion of, you can see some cool Pokemon themed content, but you can find some really different streams within there and stuff. It's a really cool microcosm and a good learning point for people that don't know anything about Pokemon like me. Like you can learn about like all sorts of stuff, like what the heck is a Nuzlocke, and like
Yeah.
all these different things. So there's like, because that's the thing, Pokemon. I've really, maybe it's some sort of like sly way to get you back for episode 2, to be honest. But like I've managed to avoid all Pokemon chatter, to be honest, which I've done all right, haven't I? I've done good. I've done very, used restraint. But there's lots of different Pokemon like games that people play, like you know what I mean. It's not the same formula. There's all sorts of like
Yeah,
the
and I mean, even
Pokeballs
just the
system
Twitch directory, you have shiny hunting that has evolved through live streaming where,
evolved very
people
good.
might have, yeah, see, look at you. You always have it. Um, but yeah, it's like you have shiny hunting, you have competitive battlers, then you have the more grassroots battlers. Like there's something called
Yeah.
Smogon format, which is not the official competitive format. VGC is the official competitive format. You have all these different ways to battle. You have the TCG, so you've got the trading card game
Yeah.
that you can play. You have the spin-off games, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you have Pokemon Coliseum, you have, even the Pokemon Puzzle League. Like there's all these different ways. I mean, now Pokemon Unite is a MOBA. Like
Yeah,
there's
Pokemon
so much.
Unite like really blew up, didn't it? Because that's like, a live action, super competitive, completely free game, team based
It's
stuff.
the best because League has always been a little too much for me, and yet this Unite is like simplified enough to where I can get into it and not feel as intimidated by it, and then still have a nice sweaty 5v5 MOBA game.
Absolutely. And for anyone who wasn't aware, that's of course Riot Games League of Legends. in case you're living under a rock and don't know about League of Legends. So
Yeah.
yeah, and like there's all sorts that you can watch chilled out Pokemon Go streams, IRL almost.
Yeah.
We can watch people just unboxing Pokemon cards live chilling on stream. So there's a whole world to delve into. So it's been really cool, and I learned a lot from my time speaking to you about all of the types of mad stuff. But one thing again, like anime, Pokemon has like got communities within communities and stuff like that. So it's really been a a perfect storm for you, hasn't it? Between people who, and it seems to be a nice correlation. It's not quite a circle, but the Venn diagram is pretty nice, isn't it, for people who like Pokemon and anime?
Yeah, I thankfully, because Pokemon's an anime, usually there's a nice crossover here. Although there
Yep.
are also people who do like Pokemon and not anime because Pokemon
It's like a gateway.
again has
It's like a gateway anime, isn't it? Yeah.
It's perfect. It is. It's a nice way to lean someone into it.
Exactly. That's a starter pack, I think. Dragon Ball Z, Avatar, Pokemon, Naruto, and Death Note or something. That would be like
Yeah.
the get on while they're young anime starter
Yep.
pack, I think. Although maybe not Death Note if you're that young. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it depends how young we're talking.
Exactly.
There's
So-
some pretty graphic things in the world that the kids want.
Yeah. Right. So yeah. So if they're very young, then no. Okay. Well, look. I mean, the thing is, you're very very humble, and people who haven't checked Steph out, you can find her. All the links will be in all of the descriptions for everything. But you are finding a lot of success doing what you're doing, and it's really cool that you managed to continue after 6 years and still learn and grow and things like that. Some people might think it's too late for them. I think a lot of people feel like that about anything, and it's always been the case. No matter what it is in the world, people feel like they're born a bit too late to get in on things, or if they haven't started on Twitch, is 2022 the year to do it? Well, I guess I'd like to just end by asking you what advice you would have for people who would maybe look at starting streaming based on the things that you've learned through your 6 years of experience.
Absolutely. So, gosh, I feel like we could have a whole separate podcast on streaming advice for newcomers. So, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Jake knows I'll go off. If he doesn't roll me, I'm going to, if I could give advice just to touch on that point, it's never too late to start streaming if you want to start streaming. However, I think you should ask yourself why you're streaming, because if the reason why you want to start streaming is to quit your job and play video games for a living, like that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it is a very tough road like to get there. And the way I've always seen it is you should stream because you love the act of streaming. And if you find a way to make streaming the thing that you love and are passionate about, I think the success will follow that, because at the end of the day, you're going to be streaming and like playing games alongside people who live and breathe Twitch. Like, something I always told people is the reason why I think that I was able to grow is that, when I was kind of, off work or out of school, like the first thing I was thinking of, oh, what can I do for my stream? Or I think I want to do a really special, cool thing for my stream today. And like, I'm constantly thinking about it, not because I was trying to build what was my eventual career out of it, but because those skills and like the act of streaming itself is what I fell in love with. And like content creation is a demanding grind that expects a certain level of consistency. And so if you're not able to find a way to love and really appreciate what you're doing and find your why, you're going to burn yourself out, be really sad and miserable, and you don't want that for yourself. So just know why you're doing it. And if that is to be a full-time streamer, like find like the sub reasons why. Why do you want to be a full-time streamer, and cling to those reasons and let that kind of carry you through. I'm also a very philosophical person, so knowing your why helps me, but that's the advice I'd give to you guys listening.
That's a perfect end. So, Curtis, we'll move on.
Wired Unplugged.
That was StephofAnime. Steve, during our interview segment, I was thinking, does Steve watch anime? What's the answer? Have you watched any anime in your life?
Studio Ghibli.
That counts.
They're the big ones, and Akira.
Yeah.
All
right.
And I've tried bits and pieces. It's I think you've got to watch it with subtitles.
there's,
you know,
ooh, that's interesting. That's a civil war there that you're starting
Yeah.
really to end on. But I mean, it's there's certainly some really high quality dubs, isn't there? Like Studio Ghibli, those movies, Disney commissioned the dub.
Yeah.
So I think like Howl's Moving Castle. I'm pretty sure Howl is Christian Bale.
yeah,
I was watching A Cat Returns a couple of weeks ago, and that's Anne Hathaway. Like there's just random like
real star power. There's some real star power.
Dakota and Elle Fanning are in Totoro. They're the little girls in Totoro. So interesting. Yeah, I wasn't. I say I don't watch anime.
I'd still watch them subtitled though.
It's especially like stuff like Akira. It adds a little something to it. I think, to be completely honest. I say that like I'm agreeing with you, but I do watch the dubs. So, but I respect. Do you know what the funny thing is though? Yeah, I watch everything with subtitles on, like everything ever. So I don't want. I hate the idea of watching like Dark on Netflix. I think that's like a German production.
Yeah.
I'd have to watch that in. I couldn't watch that dubbed because it's the mouths and stuff. But with
Yeah.
anime, it just seems to. I don't know what it is. Anyway, this is. I need to get back on that psychiatry couch the way I'm talking. Right. So, Steve, thank you very much for stepping in, like the spring chicken you are. Whilst Aaron recharges and regains his power. We've got a consumer show, WASD, in between this and the next podcast. Next week, we'll be talking to the developers of a very exciting new game, which we will talk more about. So look forward to a very Wired special podcast. If you've listened this far, thank you very, very much. It's a great thing to see people listen all the way through the end. When I look at the retention, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's people listening. So if that's you, you can subscribe on YouTube by going to Wired Live, Wired Unplugged, Wired Productions. There's all sorts of things that you can type and it'll just come up, basically. But Wired Unplugged is probably the easiest way to find it. And if you're one of our 68% of listeners that are listening, not watching, you can just give us a 5-star review. We're not asking for much, just the full 5 stars, thank you. And if you'd like to email in to let us know your favorite E3 moment and the best anime you've ever seen in your life, or you are Helen Mirren and you want to talk to us about your thoughts on the Steam Deck or something like that, you can email in at unplugged@wiredproductions.com, or you can tweet us at wiredp, P for Productions, and Pet Food. Steve, thank you very much for being so gracious and giving us all this time, and we'll pay you in kind. Thank you very much.
A pleasure as always.
Thank you, my friend. Goodbye.
Wired Unplugged.